Hey, I'm Pat McGrew, McGrewGroup, Managing Director, and I'm here with one of my favorite technology people, Drew Sprague. Drew, as the guy leading the charge at Solimar Systems, you have a lot of secrets. And one of the things we thought would be really interesting would be to start to sort of peel the layers of the onion back around those Solimar secrets. And especially because you're one of the leaders in PDF technology and you've, built that expertise around JDF and you've been helping customers for, coming up on 30 years. We thought that it would be fun to have a series of conversations around what all this really means. And you said something in a conversation not very long ago that PDF, right, portable document format, plus JDF, the job description format, equals ADF, so automated document factory. And that intrigued the heck out of me. It sounds like it's so easy, such an easy formula. Who couldn't have thought of that before? But I'd never seen it put together that way. What does that really mean to people?
Well, hi, Pat. It's so nice to see you again. I think we were having a little bit of fun just trying to seem smarter than we are.
Oh.
But in reality, there's a lot of substance behind that little formula of PDF plus JDF equals ADF. For a long time, people have been building out little elements of automated document factories. And for good reason, because there's a lot of need for visibility and transparency and efficiency. And with all the disruption and change going on, it's obvious that it's important for organizations to become really optimized when it comes to output management and managing, for example, the risks that go along with that. So the PDF part probably is a little obvious to people now about why PDF is important, because it really is. It's used everywhere that page-centric document of record information is needed.
Yeah, and trillions of pages are stored in PDF format, right?
Yeah, crazy. And it's made everyone's lives really so much more efficient. I mean, we're probably surprised at how much work we can get done in a day now because we've become basically receptacles for all this electronic information feed.
Yeah.
The JDF part is interesting because, well, frankly, a couple of years ago when we started down this road, maybe it was more like 4 or 5 years ago, we thought we were getting a little bit out over our skis because JDF had the reputation of being, well, really difficult and really kind of vendor specific.
Built by geeks for geeks.
Sorry?
Built by geeks for geeks.
Yeah,
in the print space, right?
That's right. And finding a implementation that worked well and reliably was pretty hard to do. And so we recognized, though, that JDF inevitably was going to become more influential because of the movement within the space, the technology movement, from legacy content formats, including job tickets, to more open standards. PDF being more open than a lot of the proprietary formats like XLCDS, DJDE, all that kind of stuff. And even PCL, which has its own kind of burden of having those built-in margin limitations. And so PDF being the wide open container it is, really needed a complementary data exchange vehicle, a job ticketing format and information exchange vehicle, so that people could leverage some of the benefits they were finding from other models like IPDS to implement really a more holistic view of their shop floor. And not just send information, but gather information back, know what the statuses are, be able to collect information on consumable usage so they can bill accurately and bill timely, which are really big problems for implants. And so that's kind of the direction we headed. We figured, well, we got PDF angle picked off pretty well. Let's start building JDF, even if we're a little bit ahead of our skis. And it's turned out that it's been a good strategy.
The really interesting thing is, PDF is such a, we think of it as being very well defined and well understood. I'm not sure that's true because there are so many variations, and it seems like everything that emits PDF does it slightly differently, which just adds to the excitement of dealing with PDF as a file format. But JDF is one of those things that almost felt like it was built in the back room behind closed doors by a bunch of people who had the best of intentions, but didn't necessarily have that view of how are normal people going to use this in order to make their life in output management better. And the net of it is that JDF has actually been on a way shallower ramp to global acceptance and global implementation than I think we thought it was going to be back when things started.
Right. And I would agree. And one of the things we've found in working with many of the DFE and printer vendors out there is that their implementations did have some minor flaws. And we've been able to help them work through some of those things. So we're really quite proud of that. But those issues were very small in nature, actually, and relatively quick to resolve. But I think overall, the lack of, for example, just an easy on-ramp to implement JDF has been a bit of an inhibitor for people, because even if the printer had it, finding an emitter that supported it, since there's not really a Windows driver that writes to.
It's true. Yeah. And that's how everybody's used to working, right? Oh, well, we just download a Windows driver and magic will happen. And that's not what happens with JDF.
That's right. Yeah. And in fact, many of the implementations out there currently are a bit simplistic in that you can write a JDF file, which includes all the job ticketing information, post it to a folder, and then kind of in an asynchronous way, let the target device, typically a printer, know what you want it to do. And then whenever it gets to it, which can be quite delayed, get the feedback. Our implementation's quite a bit more sophisticated. We've implemented the JMF portion of that, which is the dynamic status messaging, basically handshaking, so that you know what's going on actively with the device at any moment.
So that's the secret sauce that actually finishes out that equation of PDF plus JDF equals ADF, right? Because if all you're doing is throwing a file into a hot folder, you're not really an automated document factory.
Well, that's right. The JMF is a really important part of that whole component to make it dynamic. So once you do that, then you know what's going on with the device, and you can use the current state of the JDF file, which is effectively a recording system for the transaction, to find out what's going on now, and post that information in a live manner, so that you improve your visibility, people know what's going on, and errors can be dealt with, all that kind of fun stuff.
So one of the values that the Solimar systems bring to play in this equation are that you're dealing at sort of the most sophisticated level of dealing with all forms of PDF, no matter what they might look like, and being able to manage that JDF, JMF conversation set so that on behalf of your customer, you can help them truly automate their workflow and create that document factory environment.
Well, that's right. We definitely try to abstract our users from the many details of working with PDF or JDF, or even building their automated document factory. The chemistry platform that we have has a number of components in it that enable our users to do all kinds of things, from electronic delivery to piece level tracking to proof and approval workflows to just simple data stream conversions to important connectivity problem solving. And so we definitely try to abstract those details. And really, PDF itself does a great job of abstracting many of the nuances of just presentation from a user, so that they can have all kinds of legacy content in different formats and normalize that into PDF so that it can then fit into an automated factory. If you have those legacy platforms and don't normalize them, you are often then bound to specific ways of doing things that are hard to make more efficient.